Russ, it's clear the team has made, fantastic strides under you, without bigging you up too much. But what's the next step for this side? Is it new players? Is it development of current players? Is it, a combination of the both? What's the next step to take them to a side that can push for promotion and indeed compete maybe in the Championship?
I think, it's all of the above. Like this, I think we've come a really long way. I said to the guys after Monday, I wasn't going to feel angry with them. It was a tough game on Monday. There's no doubt about it. We've had a really, really difficult year, if I'm honest. It's been really tough. I think for the guys to produce what they have on such a consistent basis in terms of performance, not always result. I feel like we've battled against a lot. We spoke about reducing the wage bill heavily. That's been a big factor. Playing on the pitch that we've been playing on all season and the way that we're playing is a huge factor. Huge. It's massive. It can't be understated or underestimated how well the players have dealt with that, with the way that we play. The amount of change in personnel that we've had. And the personnel that have left and what we've brought in. Obviously, it's been so much change even during the season, which is why I feel incredibly proud of the group and what they've been able to achieve this year. And why I want them to finish strong and for us to finish really well, because they deserve it. I don't think people appreciate how much we've had to fight for what we've had this year after a really tough year last season. And I don't know what everyone's expectation was this year, but we were pretty realistic behind closed doors about it was going to be a fight. It was going to be a real fight for us to really consolidate and establish and improve ourselves at this level, because we were only back here last year. So what gives me great hope and excitement for the future is the fact that they've come through this period really tough with the demands we've placed on them, with the way we want to play, which is not easy. And I've said that on numerous occasions, and they've got through it. And a lot of them are learning on the job. It's their first full season. A lot of them haven't been with us for very long, and they've adapted up unbelievably well, really quickly. So in terms of the future, Luke, I think I've said it before. I'd love to get this club fighting at the top end of this table. How long that will take, I don't know. Should the expectation next year be to go and get promoted, again, that'll be down to the chairman and everyone else, but we're not going to have a budget that suggests we should do that. We're not going to have the experience in the league of players that suggest we should go and do that. But I think what gives us all great hope is the way the players have adapted this year to a really tough season. And for me, that gives us, incredible excitement for next year, and we'll just have to see where that takes us. So I don't want to talk about next season yet, but what's going to help us improve next season? Yeah, of course, more good players, keeping hold of our best players, and then seeing what we can do and add and improve on the pitch and off it.
Yeah, my only concern, and I'm sure it's one shared by you, is that you will have to repeat the process that you did in January, and there'll be a continual repetition of what you've done. You've taken a side when you took over, developed it, lost some players because they've moved on, and then brought new players in, almost not started again because the process was already in place. Then develop again, and come the end of the season, will some of the players that you've developed and integrated into the side now move on, and then you have to start again? And is there then any progression? Are you not then just developing players for a season, seeing if you can do well, and then having to start again?
I think what we're trying to do now is going to help us attract players to improve us, for sure. I think, if everyone's going to talk about us really being a top team in this league at some point, whether that's in a year or two's time, then you have to be strong enough to hold on to your better players. And if you're going to be really serious about it, then we have got a core group next year that is ours, that is young, that is hungry, that are going to be regular starting players as long as they maintain their levels. And I think we have to add a few around that, but we are looking to add depth and quality next year, no doubt about it. But if I look at what we have now, we have players who've been with us for long enough to understand what we're doing, and also that we'd expect to be really, really good and stronger for this season's experience, and will be regular starters next year for us. So, you know, the likes of Matt O'Reilly, Dave Kasumu, the back three that started on Saturday and Fish, they're all so young. Danny Harvey was great. They're all ours, and they're all going to be here and be a big part of next season. So that gives, you know, and you just hope the ones that you add have the quality that they need to come in, and then they have to be as coachable and learn as quickly as these guys have. But what they'll be coming into is a group that really buys into it, that is really behind what we're doing, and has lived it for quite a while now, and in terms of the culture and performance. So I think it makes it a lot easier for any new guys coming in. And that's no disrespect to the guys we had this summer that we inherited last season, but I always knew there was a few groups of different of players that felt differently about it. I think we had players who really wanted to come along with the ride, who didn't think maybe they suited the way we were going to play, and didn't feel like they were quite up to it, but they really tried. We had players who just weren't interested because of the demands in it, and it's fine. That's human nature. You get different people who like different things, and then we had players, and ultimately they're the ones that are still here and still really, you know, developing, improving, and really fighting for a place in the team. And they're the ones that have just completely bought into it and seen, actually, we're going to really enjoy this ride and enjoy the journey. And we have now, I genuinely believe we have one group of players at the club, and that's people who are really buying into how we play, that really want to be part of it, and they can see how much they're going to improve, and they're actually starting to enjoy it. It's about enjoying, you know, football. We'll get into it, you guys as well, you know, whatever age you get into it, because you enjoy it, because you love it. And unfortunately, a lot of time, when you become a professional footballer, it slowly ebbs and fades away until you get to the end of your career. And we don't want that. We want people to enjoy the process, enjoy the grind, and ultimately enjoy putting the shirt on Saturday and play with no fear and real clarity in what they're doing. And we have a group of players now that really feel that, and it's up to us to make sure we have the right characters over the summer to help us with that.
You talk about enjoying the game. It seems clear to me that you're enjoying what you're doing, and you may have come to the end of your career and not been as in love with being a player as you were. But to me, it seems like what you're doing, you're enjoying hugely.
Yeah, it's not always easy. It's been one of the toughest years of my life. I think it's been a big challenge for me on and off the pitch. There's been a lot happen, but yeah, I'm immensely proud of what we're building here. I love the people I'm working with. I think that's the most important thing for me. It's what really gets me excited to come into work, and the culture that we have. So I am really enjoying it. I'm learning a lot. It's been a big year for me in terms of learning, in terms of really clarifying where I want to be, the vision for the team. And yeah, I'm doing it with a really good club, with an incredible group of people that, I love working with, without sounding too sentimental on that, but I do. And they've been, as I said, there's been some really tough periods for me this season, and they've all been there for me. And you know, and the two guys who are in the trenches with me every weekend, Luke and Dean, I can't thank enough for how much they bring us, and Ant and all the guys see that on a day-to-day basis. Ant will tell you there's been some tough conversations in the office with everyone as well. We're really honest with each other, but I love what we have. I really, and that's why I'm desperate to bring us. We're desperate to bring success to us eventually, because when you're part of it day to day, you can't help but feel so connected and so involved with the people you're doing it with, players and staff. So yeah, I think what we've created off the pitch is as good as anything I've been involved in, and hopefully that has to ultimately lead to success, and that's what I'll be judged on. But we are heading towards where we want to get to, slowly but surely.
And leading on from the question about the team and about how you develop them, the contracts there's contracts for a lot of players that are up. That's just probably an ongoing thing for you, is it? Are you in constant communication with those players, trying to sort those contracts out?
Yeah. There's contract offers on the table at the moment for players.
Right.
There's a few that we are talking about as well, and will be offered very soon. There's also players who we need to talk about for next season that to see how they feel about next season, see what their thoughts are, and see where we're at. So, yeah, there's lots going on. It's a constant process. We're also looking at players as well for the summer in positions we need to recruit. That's been ongoing for a long time. And all the time you're just whittling away and working down the list. But, yeah, I want to make sure we look after the players that have been here already and the guys who are going to be here, well, we're going to try and keep here. And the guys who are maybe not going to be here next season, make sure that they have plenty of notice and they get told early enough. But we still have 7 games to go, so it's a really difficult balance. But everyone still has a chance to really impress and prove themselves and prove they're up for moving forward next season. And that's why the next 7 games are really important. Despite league position, they are really, really important because it's a test of mentality, it's a test of character, and you can see how far we can get to this season.
Any knocks, any issues? Did David Kasumu come through his kind of half an hour? Okay, yeah.
He did, yeah. I think he's a little bit sore because it's the first. Obviously, it's a different change. It's a change of intensity, but I thought he looked great. I mean, the first 2 passes looked a bit rusty, and then after that, once he settled down, I thought he was really, really good. And he's going to be, yeah, he's a massive. He's been a huge miss for us, and I do think we would be. I think the guys who've come in, and Sirs and Josh have been brilliant. Lass played a really good part earlier on. Matty and Scotty, Louis Thompson in the bits that he's been, they've all played a huge, huge part. Houts, unfortunately, was injured for a long time as well. But they've all played a really important part. But David was, I think, the best I've seen him just before he got injured. The form he was in was, we were watching him in training going, wow, this guy has really elevated, really kicked on. So he's been a big loss for us. He's been a really big loss. And I'm really pleased with the way the team's adapted and we've tweaked a few things. But yeah, it's great to have him back. And he's probably not quite ready to start yet, but he will be. He'll get a good few games in, hopefully, between now and the end of the season, which will really stand in good stead for pre-season.
Would your past with Norwich mean a victory at Ipswich would be even sweeter than any other game in this division?
I'm sure there'll be a few thousand people that tell you it would be. I'll give you the professional answer and say, no, it's a game we're prepared properly for and we want to win. But yeah, of course, I think when you spend a long time somewhere that is the club's biggest rival, then yeah, I'm a bit disappointed there won't be fans there because I'm sure they've got a lot of abuse, which would have been interesting. But yeah, listen, it's a really good challenge for our players because it's despite the change that's gone on there this season, obviously the other people feel that are involved at the club, the fans, etc. At the moment, they're still a big scalp in this league. They're still a big team with pretty much every one of their players has championship experience. So it will be a tough game for us, but I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's after Monday as well. It's one we've got a real chance of going there and trying to enjoy. And that will be stressed upon the players and how we can go there and implement our own game. It's another challenge for us, and I think they're probably a club in transition at the moment. Obviously, with a change in manager, there's been a lot of games since he's taken over, so probably not as much time as he would have wanted to work on the things he is. But they have a lot of good players, which makes them a threat. So the form's been a bit indifferent, but we're well aware of the challenge ahead. But I also think we can go there and do what we do and be us and win the game. There's no doubt about that.
That's us.
No problem.
It was another one of those games, wasn't it, with Ipswich earlier this season, where it felt like you were very much on top, but got stung by the early goal and had to battle back into it.
Yeah, and that was at a time they were in really top form. I think they were top of the league when they come here, or somewhere there and thereabouts. So yeah, I thought it was one of our most dominant displays. To be honest, I think after they scored, they didn't touch the ball in our box at all for the whole game. And I know they went down to 10 men for 20 odd minutes when Flynn Downs went off injured, but it was one. I think it was one of many frustrating games earlier on in the season that we came away from feeling we should have won, and probably the stats would have backed that up. So yeah, if we can replicate, and I feel like we've obviously the balance in terms of results and performance has been better as the season went on, but still some of them earlier performances were some of our best. But I feel like we have replicated that in the last 4 or 5 weeks in terms of performance, and then the results have followed. So yeah, if we can match that level of performance with the group we have, then we have a big chance of winning the game. I'm sure of that.
Of course, that was Daniel Harvey's, I think, his first goal for the club. He's it feels like he's a changed man in the last few weeks, and his performances have taken a step after a little spell.
Yeah, he's been great, isn't he? I think he was probably our best player on Saturday. Him and Warren Lahore, I felt were fantastic. Danny's been great for the last couple of games. He's come from a really different level. He's young. He's played a lot of football, so you probably don't regard him in the same vein as some of the young guys, which is unfair on Daniel because he's played a lot. He's also been away on international trips every single time, which disrupts your flow. I've done it as a player. It's tough to keep coming back and going away and playing in a different way and then trying to come straight back in. It's not easy. And it's his first season at a difficult level. So he's had some really great moments. He's had some dips in form, which you expect, but his character, his attitude, his mentality, he's desperate to work hard, desperate to improve. As I said to you, he has a little bit of, he's quite feisty. He has a little bit of devilment in him, which I really like because, that's not easy to come across nowadays, and he does it in the right way. So, I think he has all the potential to really grow with us and keep kicking on and improving. And if he manages to play the way he's played in the last couple, then he's going to be a big, he's shown big improvement, and he'll be a big player for us moving forward. And we really like Daniel. When with young players, you just have to be patient, Toby. I think that's been a huge part of our seasons, and we have to accept mistakes that happen, accept dips in form with all the young guys we have, and then make sure they learn from it. But never ever have we punished anything for any mistakes they make. They're honest mistakes because they all work extremely hard. But it's how they react to mistakes. And Daniel reacted to coming out of the team brilliantly, just got his head down, worked even harder. And now the rewards he's getting for that, because he has been probably, over the last two games, one of the top performers for us.
You mentioned in one of your previous answers that you want to have conversations with players pretty early about whether or not their future is going to be at the club. One of the guys we've barely seen at all, I know through injury, but also through just sheer selection issues, has been Kieran Agard. What's going to be his future?
Kingsley, well, I need to have a chat with him, but obviously he's out injured at the moment. Kieran has been, I can't speak highly enough of Kieran for how he's behaved, his professionalism when he's not involved. We've had a lot of conversation during the time I've been here. He's just a brilliant pro. He's a great guy. It would have been really easy for him to put his head down and maybe sulk a bit. He's never ever done that. He's worked hard. He's been really unfortunate with injuries as well since we've taken over. And there's other things that come into it. As I said to you, with the wage budget, etc., things like that. It's made things difficult for certain people, and he's probably one of those guys when you're trying to reset something. But with Kieran, it is what it is. He's been unfortunate. We've had really good options. I mean, Reece was on fire last year. We brought Carlton in, and this year, obviously, the options have increased again with Cammy and Griggy coming in as well. So, and Carlton obviously earlier on. So, it's just been unfortunate. But the way he's handled himself, the way he's dealt with it, he's a brilliant pro, and he's been great for this club. So, we'll obviously have a sit down together in the next few weeks and have a discussion, and we'll see where we're at after that.